I'm kind of out of uniform because, well, my other clothes are soaking wet because I've been outside in the rain testing a knife designed by one of the OG knife YouTubers, Chris Tanner over at Prepared Mind 101. We're going to take a look at a knife I never thought I would get to see any version of. This is the JXV.
Well, guys, as you saw in the intro, this is not the average knife. This is a knife done by one of my favorite YouTubers. So this design was done by Chris Tanner over at Prepared Mind 101. And this is not the first version of this knife. This is the JXV. This is done by Tuff. Now, if you guys remember, back in the day, and I mean, it's been a minute, Chris had a design really almost identical to this. I believe it's the same overall knife that was done by Bark River. And there were some differences. The handle was different, had a different pommel. It didn't have this guard on it that you see on this. But this thing is a monster. Now, this is first impressions. There's a lot of stuff that I'm going to go through on this. Overall, just first day, I did some testing out in the yard, but the problem is it has been nasty out here, and it was raining, hence I'm in this. It was raining, and I really didn't want to take my camera gear outside and my tripod and get everything wet. But I did some chopping with this. I am planning on here making a weekend trip up to the mountain where I tested the Grizzly by Tuff. So all that aside, let's go ahead and talk about this. Now, this is a knife that Chris designed purposefully as a trail knife. So this can do a lot of different tasks. This has got multiple grips on the handle. It is about, I think if I remember right, this is about 16.5 inches overall length. Let me get that spec and make sure I'm not just speaking out of my ass. Yes, 16.5 inches with an almost 9-inch blade. This is done in a really unique fashion. So you've got this narrow area back here really close to your hand and then all this weight forward. And I got to tell you, you get with these multiple handholds, it completely changes the way that this knife performs. So you've got this big long handle that can be used double-handed if you need to, that allows you these multiple grips. So this is a heavy knife and a big heavy blade. I'm sorry, I wish I could get more. I wish I could do a better job of it. But like I said, there's just no way I'm going to film this outside in the rain. But with these multiple handholds, it goes from a chopper to being up here where it's more balanced towards the middle, that you can do some finer duty tasks. You could do some, like use this for planing, use this for making feather sticks, which I tested on a broom handle that I had, not the best medium for it, but it does work. The other really cool thing about this is if you're going to build a shelter or something out in the woods, you're going to be out there, this would meet most of your purposes. You could use this as a chopping tool to take down small pieces of wood if you're going to build a lean-to and things like that. Then you could use this, get way up on this, and you've got this big fuller here where you can get your hand on it, and you could do some planing and cleaning out and flattening things if you need to notch something, like making a lifted mat to sleep on for the night. But you also can get way back here, and you've got this grip where it takes that weight balance and puts it all the way at the front with this big area belly to maximize the cutting potential and just definitely go to town on it. Now, this is made in SK85 steel, which is a steel I've never used. And the beating and chopping and things I did, it seems to be pretty resilient. Now, this knife did not come new. I'm going to tell you right now, this is something that Scab sent me, Choir Boys Cutlery. Big shout out to him. He's been linking a lot of my videos, guys. You got to go check out his channel. But you can see there were some little fine chips on this edge when it came, but I didn't add any new ones. And if you guys have watched Scab's videos, you know that these knives do not get treated gently at all. So I got to say, first blush, the things that I've done with this has been pretty impressive to me, especially I like when something is thought out ergonomically. Like Chris definitely knew what he wanted from this knife. Now, I don't know anything about the Bark River version because I never got to see one. It was called the JX5 Vengeful One. This is the JVX or JXV. So basically JX5 as well, if you're looking at, or maybe that's J15. Who knows? It is definitely a cool knife. The stuff that I have gotten from Tuff is just incredibly well made. Now you can see that these G10 handles are not, they're not really very finely finished. And even out in the rain, this had a good grip. It's got this big palm swell here that allows it to really feel your hand. In this grip, I found it to be awesome. But even when I got back here, I didn't feel unsecure. This is just a very well thought out knife overall. This big fuller down the blade, I think that I'm going to dig it because it gives the blade balance a downward angle. Like, it just feels like it wants to go down. It doesn't detract from anything. But I think if they hadn't done this, this knife might be actually just too heavy. I think it would. That weight removal there, a big fuller like you would get on a boshi on a Japanese sword, definitely reduces the weight, but it doesn't detract from the strength of the blade. So we're going to give this a big hard use. Now, I want to point something out. It does come with this really well-made micarta sheath. All of the Work Tuff stuff that I've gotten, the sheaths have been amazing. There's multiple tie downs, lash points. You can put loops on this so you can carry it scout carry, small at the back if you wanted to. I gotta say, I think this would probably wind up being something I would put in a pack and carry it that way. And then double lanyard holes so that you could have a big looped lanyard, cinch it down. Because the last thing you want is out in the field, you're chopping and stuff with this, and it comes flying out of your hand. Terrifying, because these are sharp. This is a very sharp knife. Work Tuff has really impressed me with the stuff that I've seen. I'm no doubt with this nice big flat and the way this is shaped and everything that this would baton through a lot of stuff. So I'm going to give this a workout. Chris, I apologize if I don't give it the workout you could, but, well, I'm getting old. I got a bad shoulder, and just the stuff I did today, I can already feel my carpal tunnel acting up. So there will be a follow-on video. Now, I do have to say there's a couple things that I don't like about this knife, and I'm going to have to point them out right after you guys hear from this video's sponsor. So only two real things. I did say that the grip was okay in the rain, but I think that if, like, you were out and you had gotten muddy, especially if you're somewhere where you might be working with specific types of wood that the bark gets slippery. If you ever heard of slippery elm, things like that, if you're doing stuff like that, it would definitely, slippery elm has almost this snotty, slimy material in. If you're back in the Midwest and you're using this as a trail knife and you're dealing with that, it could get slippery. But I mean, you've got the lanyard. I would like to have seen this checkered. Just some light checkering on this, just a milled checkered pattern going down here, maybe up into this and then sand it off. And the only other real thing that I can say, and this is just me, and I know that Chris's design has stood the test of time. Like I said, I remember seeing the JX5 come out, and it was years and years ago, and it's still an awesome knife. But I wish this had a flat capped pommel. And when I mean a capped pommel, I wish it had a metal flat that was screwed into the blade blank. I wish this was flat and then had a capped pommel with a steel cap that went around with a nice flat piece. It would have added weight to the tail, but if you are building a lean-to, something that's this heavy, it would give you basically a hammer. If you had a pocket full of nails or you were using to build your lean-to, you could drive that, and it would make it a lot easier to drive tent stakes and things like that. Because if you're carrying this, you are probably not carrying a trail hatchet, which would have a flat spot on the back for you to do those things. So just having a flat cap on the base of this would amplify everything on this. And I mean, would it add a little bit of weight? Yeah, maybe in the tail, but it's not going to be, if you cut it off and then you just put that on and it had a nice thick flat piece that screwed both into the handle material and then the blade blank. I think it would just be awesome. That would take this to a 10 out of 10 for me for an outdoor knife, but not my design, just something that I would think about if I was designing a knife like this. So guys, that's it on this one. Let's turn this around. We'll do some final thoughts and I'll send you out about your day.
I absolutely love this knife. Even with, like I said, if I changed the pommel ever so slightly, that would be something. I mean, I could do that as a knife maker. I think that would take this to a different level. This thing's amazing. I've followed Chris for years. He's one of the reasons this channel even exists. Guys like him, Jim Skelton, that were doing stuff with knives on YouTube. I love it. I love the fact that I finally got to see one. Go watch his Rambo video. It's one of the funniest things I've seen on YouTube in years. So guys, that's it on this one. You know what to do. There was a sponsored ad down below, so you know I've got sponsors. Follow this link, Coffee Brand Coffee Temper Trail. They have got discounts built in. I've got affiliate links down below where you can pick up most of the knives you would ever want at most of the major vendors. I've got a coupon code that will save you 40% at Beyond EDC, 10% at Fair and Forge Knife Works, and 10% at Rosecraft Blades and KATSU Knives. Almost forgot about that one. There is a public Discord down below. Check that out. Join that public Discord. If you ever want to reach out to me, there's a DM function on there. I'm on there pretty often. I check it daily. I might not post. And I have a membership down below where you can get in on exclusive content. I do giveaways. There's a premium sharpening tutorial series. And there is a private Discord for those guys. Guys, that's it on this one. I love y'all. Take it easy, and I'll see you in the next video.